What's up, guys? Alex Corey with cultivatedchange.com here. We're back in the garden with KC Gardens, and I'm going to bring you with me as I prep for peas. It's another gorgeous day here, and I was just looking at my schedule, and once March 1st hits, it doesn't stop until May. So wherever I can find little snippets of time to get ahead of it, I'm going to do that. Basically today's project, and this shouldn't take too long, is just moving this fence probably a foot this way towards me where this mattock is in line. This is my pea trellis. It's just old deer fence, which works extremely well, and it's just hard to get behind here, so I'm gonna actually move this a foot and then put up another layer of chicken wire right here across those tall T-posts, and plant peas on either side, just to have peas everywhere in this one section. Might as well. Peas are dirt cheap and grow profusely. March 1st is the direct seeding date for peas. There's no real difference for a week earlier. It's just day length that's based off of. So they might grow a little slowly when they first germinate, but doesn't matter. And if they don't germinate, we can just replant. So we're just gonna do a little ground clearing, and I'm not going to do the peas today because I have to go get some and then soak them. So we'll do the peas either tomorrow or Wednesday afternoon, and I'll finalize it with you then. But let's do some ground prep. So, I think the first year I moved here, I had potatoes right here next to the fence, because this is looks like a Yukon Gold. So, it's probably still good too, it's not as squishy, but whenever I'm doing anything for legumes, peas, shelling peas, if I did any chickpeas or anything like that, or beans, I don't like to till the ground a ton, especially here, because as I was digging, it's a lot of dry carbonaceous material instead of green voracious weeds with roots that go in 6 inches deep. So I might actually just till a strip where I know I'm going to put the peas in, and then put some of that dead brown matter back. That's just compost. That's a mulch. It's the same thing as putting sterile straw down. So I'm going to probably move the fence right now, and then just till up 6 inches on both sides, and dump some of my compost, and then put the mulch back, and then we'll shove it aside when we put the peas inside and let them pop through, and use the natural compost already here. So this is the other reason why I'm I like the concept of till once, meaning disturb the ground at a deep level once. For this reason, found some pretty gnarly roots. I spent probably a month digging up roots whenever I was forming the garden originally, and every time I actually have to go further than a couple inches down, I end up getting some more of those big roots. So that's the initial till, and then subsequent times will just be a tilth. That'll be a 1 or 2 inch down, just where the root systems will be, just to disrupt any compacted soil structures and root systems from previous crops. So I'm not going to apply the compost today because it rained this morning and the soil is very heavy, so my compost will be miserable too. We'll do that whenever we go to seed. I'm just going to finish up by stringing some chicken wire, some chicken fence along these top posts, just to give the peas a little extra room to climb. And I've just been using, I used to zip tie everything just for a little more stability, but this is tomato twine and it works just as well. I have oodles of it and there's not a ton more plastic lying around, so I've been using tomato twine for everything. But these T-posts are perfect for hanging things on. I get brutal winds here, like 50-mile-an-hour gusts. So if I ever have to use something like a wooden stake or even a bamboo stake, which I have lying around, these are great for auxiliary support. But anything you're using to support for 50-degree winds, whenever there's leaves on this thing, like peas growing, the wind will just catch all that surface area. And if you're relying on like a wooden stake, 6 inches in the ground, it'll just snap it off, which I've had happen before. So I'm a big fan of T-posts. They're just good to have and they last forever, so buy them once and keep reusing them. Anyway, let's string some chicken wire and we'll do the rest tomorrow. So that's it, guys. I'm going to do the other half of the chicken wire later. I'm going to go get some more fasteners. The one last thing I wanted to mention was, that last part you saw me do was bending the edge of the fence back. If you're using materials you have lying around like deer fence and there's any sharp metal, don't forget to bend in the ends. I don't know how many t-shirts I've just ripped a string through, because that'll catch as I'm walking by, just not thinking about it, and just either tear your shirt or give you a nice gash on your arm. I can never really tell if I get it from gardening or mountain biking, because they do the same thing, but nonetheless I got plenty of scars from that. So we'll do the compost, and I will show you the soaking pea process. I gotta go get some more because I have some inside under our germination chamber, but this will look better when we're done. Like I said in my previous video, it does not need to look great and it does not need to use expensive products. It'll look better, everything looks better when there's things growing. Once there's peas there and there's lush green foliage and the sun's out, I might put some cardboard down in the pathways to mulch it, and then put some actual mulch down to make it look good and get some weed suppression. But just the raw unfinished product doesn't need to look good all the way through. It's like building a house. the foundation and initial construction process looks terrible, and then once everything is established and growing, looks wonderful. So don't worry about that as we go. We are back inside, and I ran and got some peas. So we have Sugar Snap and Sugar Daddy. These are both from So True Seed downtown, and I'm going to do probably, since we're going to have two different pea seeding areas, one on the fence we just put up and then one against the perimeter of the garden. Probably one will go on both sides of the fence that we moved, because if I do it on either side of the fence, they mix, so I'll never be able to tell which is which. So we'll do one on the perimeter of the garden and one on the deer fence. So this is going to be Sugar Daddy, so we'll mark that. We're just going to soak these. So the goal with peas is to give them a head start, because they go in so early in the season and it's still cold whenever they pop out of the soil. So you want to give them, you want to trigger the germination process prior to them going into the freezing ground, so that they already start the process of sprouting, and you put them about 1.5 inches into the ground. So you give them a head start, and then it takes them a bit to poke through the soil, and then they have to withstand freezing nights still. So it's a battle. So we're just giving them, you don't have to do this. You can just put them in the ground, but why not? I mean, it takes a day of preparation and you have peas forever. So this is going to be, ooh, it's been a long day. I spelled sugar wrong. Sugar Snap we're going to put here. And these are probably going to be indistinguishable when we actually taste them. But put those there. Sugar Daddy. And these go a couple inches apart, so we'll probably just have enough. And then fill with room temperature water. You don't need to go too hard. A lot of people don't like just putting them in water because there's not a lot of oxygen. But I'm going to put them in there now, and they'll soak overnight. And I will drain them in the morning when I wake up, so around 7 I'll drain them. So they'll have probably about 10 hours of soaking, and then I will rinse them every 4 hours, and we're going to plant them tomorrow afternoon. And I'll show you that process. I'm just going to put some compost and some fertilizer down where we dug up today, and then mark off that space, and we'll mulch it later. But we'll check back in on these guys tomorrow afternoon. We're back with our peas. Just wanted to show you guys quickly before we go outside and plant them the size. So I soaked these guys overnight, and if you can tell, I actually bought some more. We're going to do an experiment with the peas, but those are the same raw peas, and then this angle doesn't do it justice, but they double-ish in size when you soak them. So that's the benefit of doing that, is they absorb water and it gives them a head start. So I bought another packet of Sugar Snap, which is these guys. We're actually going to plant some unsoaked on one side and then soaked on the other, and we'll see how it affects the germination process. And let's go outside and do it. All right, we have our peas here. I did a little more tilling last night, and I'm just going to put some compost down quickly, put a couple of sticks through these guys so I remember which is which, and then just gonna draw 1.5 inch line in the compost and plant. We'll give you guys a close-up when we're done.